Are you kidding? The lawn people are here. I might have to wait till they move. Okay, I think they're gone. I was gonna say, we need to make this quick because I turned off my air conditioning for this video and I'm wearing a sweater and it's hotter than hell outside, so. Anyways, hello! Welcome to the Tink and Bobble podcast. My name is Sierra. I am the host of the Tink and Bobble podcast and the maker behind Tink and Bobble, where you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry. I live here in southern Indiana with my husband Josh and our 2 cute pups who might make some noise during this video. And yeah, it's been a little bit since I filmed an episode. I want to film, my goal is to film every 2 weeks, but when I'm not like feeling emotionally great, it's hard for me to want to film. The light might get kind of crazy. And you know, everything's fine, but things have been a little up and down recently. So anyways, it's been a little bit since I have filmed. I have a lot of fun things to share with you, including what I'm wearing. Oh, so exciting. So, let's just get into it, shall we? If I'm looking over here, it's because my show notes are over here and I will forget things. Okay, let's start with the first thing I finished. We'll go in order. So, I'm being a bit of a tease, but I finished my Nutcracker Socks. I should say, welcome back if you've been here before. I'm so glad you guys. Okay, my phone just cut me off, and I'm not really sure why, but yeah, welcome if you're new here. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back to all returning viewers. I love y'all so much. If you are new, hit subscribe. I never do that little YouTuber thing. Hit subscribe and the bell button. Like this video if you like it. All that good stuff. Everything I talk about today, all the information will be down below in the description box. Links to where I got the yarn, the patterns, all that stuff. I will say the pattern links will take you to Ravelry. So if Ravelry is not accessible for you for any reason, let me know and I will see if I can find the pattern somewhere else to send to you. Send you the link to, not send you the pattern, obviously. Yeah, okay, finished objects. First, I finished my Nutcracker Socks. I knit these out of a sock set from Sewrella yarn, and the main colorway is Tchaikovsky, the composer of the Nutcracker, and the mini is in the colorway Bear. It's like golden yellow color. I did not follow a pattern for these. I don't know why I'm showing you this one when I have one on a nice sock blocker. I knit these super long. As you can see, I knit the legs super long. I did not follow a pattern for these. This is just a 2x2 ribbed cuff. I did a couple of rounds of the contrast color at the top, and then 3x1 ribbing for the main part of the sock. On the bottom of the foot, I did stockinette, slip stitch, heel flap, heel turning gusset, and a rounded toe. And I did these over 64 stitches, and I used a US 1 2.25mm needle. I used 9-inch circulars for my socks, and then for the heel and the toe I switched to DPNs, which is the only time in my life that I use DPNs because I really don't like using them if I can avoid them, but for my socks I'd rather use DPNs than magic loop because I just don't like having the cord hanging around, if that makes sense. So yes, I think that is everything about my first finished object. We zoomed through that one. I'll save my favorite finished object for last. So the next thing I finished is a test knit that I was doing for Lindsey Fowler of Larkspur Knits. If you follow her, you've probably seen that she's releasing a book of knitting patterns. It is out for pre-order on August 4th, and it's called Salt and Timber. And this is one of the patterns in that book that I got to test knit for her, and I just finished it yesterday. This is the High Tide Shell Vest. It's got a high-low hem at the bottom, so the front is shorter than the back. And then it's this beautiful slip stitch pattern in 3 different colors. And then you pick up and do the collar and the little ribbing on the sleeves. And I'm going to take finished object photos of this and the one I'm wearing today, so I will insert a picture of what it looks like on me for you to see it. I knit this out of my main color, so this like creamy color is Lion Brand Woolies in the colorway Linen. If you're not familiar, Woolies is 80% acrylic, 20% wool. And then the tan color in my stripes is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted in Camel Heather. And then the dark, sometimes black, sometimes navy color is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted in Penguin. So there it is. I knit the size 5, which is, it gives a 44-inch bust circumference. I have a 35-ish inch bust. So this gives me about 9 inches of positive ease, which is really nice and cozy, and it'll be great for layering in the fall and winter, which is exactly what I wanted. It is super comfy and squishy. The fabric this slip stitch pattern makes is so squishy, and I love it. I'm so excited. I knit this on the recommended needles because I was test knitting. So the ribbing at the collar and the armholes and then at the bottom is all in a US 7, which is a 4.5 millimeter. And then the body of the vest is on a US 8, which is a 5 millimeter, I believe. So yeah, there is finished object number 2. I love it. I'm so excited. I feel like it is very like grandpa-ish, which I love. Okay, last finished object. Well, we're zooming through this video right now. Last finished object, which I'm wearing right now, is my Allie sweater by Sarah Opie, S Knits on Instagram. I'll scoot back and stand up a little bit so you can see it. Oh my gosh, it is so cute. I had it kind of tucked in here. Oh, it's so cute. I'm sure you all have seen this all over Instagram. It is taking the internet by storm. This is the Allie sweater by Sarah Opie. Here it is. Oh, it's so pretty. This is my favorite, the contrast bind off. I actually did my sleeves a little different than the pattern, which I'll talk about in a minute. But, oh my gosh, look at, oh, it's so pretty. This, let me scoot my chair back up. Okay. This is my favorite sweater I've ever made, hands down. It is my favorite just because it's my favorite. It's also the best, like the nicest feeling sweater that I've ever made. It's the perfect gauge, perfect yarn, perfect fit. Everything about it is perfect, and I'm so excited. So, Allie sweater, I knit this out of Explore Knits and Fibers, obviously. If you're not aware, the sweater is named after Allie, the dyer behind Explore Knits and Fibers. So of course I had to use her yarn. I had leftovers of my contrast color, which is Duomo. Actually, I have leftover skeins. Let me grab those. I have leftovers of this color. Ooh, there we go. Which is Duomo from her Italy collection from the summer of 2020. Ignore the state of this ball. I need a new ball winder desperately. So I use that for my CC contrast color. And then for my main color, I used Macchiato, which she has since revamped and renamed Waffle Cone. So if you're familiar with Allie, she just had an ice cream social update the other day, and the colorway Waffle Cone is basically the same as this. She's just reformulated it a little bit. So here's my leftovers. It's showing up a little bit warmer on camera. It's not as like red-orange. It definitely has like a warm overall tone to it, but it is brown. So I used these for my sweater. I knit the size 2, which is a 40-inch bust, which again I have a 35-ish inch bust that gives me about 5 inches of positive ease. I think I'm pretty bang on. I like blocked it to measurements and everything. I knit the sleeves exactly to pattern, like to the length, and they fall perfectly on me. I mean, like when I'm just relaxing, they come right to my wrist. If I'm standing up My shorts are rolling up. They hit like right, you know, a little bit past my wrist, which I love. They're long enough for me to pull over my hands, which I always do with my sweaters. In the pattern, she has the color work flow into the cuff. So the way the pattern actually calls for you to do it is to have the ribbing done in your contrast color, and then the contrast little pop at the end is in your main color. But for some reason that bothered my OCD. I'm literally diagnosed, so I'm not making light of OCD, just to be clear. It bothered me. So I repeated what I had done on the ribbing for the body and just did the ribbing in the Macchiato colorway and then the contrast in Duomo, and I love it. It's just gonna blow out and look white. You can see like some of the blue in there on video. Maybe you can see some of the variation in it in the yoke, but it just is so fun. The Duomo is so fun as a contrast color because of all the like subtle variation in it. I will also insert a picture of it on, maybe you can see the colors a little bit better. I'm not sure yet, haven't taken the photos yet. But yeah, this was another test knit. The pattern will be out, honestly not for a while. I finished it very quickly. The test knit deadline isn't until August 31st, and I finished mine 2 days ago because I just couldn't help myself. It was so fun to knit. I knit it so fast. What else is there to say about it? I don't know. I just love it. I want to wear it all the time. It's so beautiful. I love it so much. It's so cozy. I'm really proud of this one. And if you don't follow Sarah on Instagram already, you definitely should. She's incredible. This is her first garment pattern, and it's perfection, so I'm shocked. It's amazing. She also has a ton of really great sock patterns and some shawl patterns. You should definitely go check her out. She will obviously be linked down below. I want to knit like every pair of socks that she's ever designed, and I know she has new sock designs on the needles right now that also look amazing, so you should definitely go follow her. I'm already getting warm because I had to turn the AC off to film this, so we might speed through this a bit. We'll see. But that is all of my finished objects. Next we'll talk about works in progress. I can't remember where this was when I showed it to you last. I don't think I had finished the body, but first is my oldest whip, and this is the Stria Cardigan by Andrea Mowry. I'll insert a picture of it on her so you can see what it looks like finished. And here is mine. So I finished the body a little while ago, pretty soon after I filmed the last podcast episode, I think. And I started a sleeve, but I have since paused because it's driving me nuts to do this on Magic Loop. I just can't do it. So I'm waiting until I can order a small circumference circular to do the sleeves for this. But I am knitting this out of Knit Picks palette, which is their fingering weight 100% Peruvian Highland wool. It's a 2-ply. It's wonderful. It's squishy and soft. It's not, I don't think it's superwash. I'm pretty sure it's non-superwash, so it's not like silky soft, but I still, like, it doesn't bother me at all. I think it's super soft, and this texture, this fisherman's rib, is so stretchy and squishy. It looks kind of tiny, but it's going to grow a ton once it's blocked. I knit this out of, I already said, Knit Picks palette. The colorways are, the main color is Oyster Heather, and then this first stripe is Lynx Heather, ignore my nail polish situation. Lynx Heather, Doe, as in deer, Doe, deer. Bison and Douglas Fir are my contrast colors, and I'm definitely going to finish this before the fall. This is a very autumnal sweater, and it will be done for the fall. I can't, I don't know why, but it's really bothering me. I can't do these sleeves on. I don't know if it's the stitch pattern or what, but your girl's not doing these sleeves on Magic Loop, so I need to wait till I can order some other needles. But the body is done, and I'm very excited. This has been on the needles for a very long time. I started it for her Andrea Mowry's March to May knit along, so I started it in March, and it's almost the end of July, mid to end of July. So it's been on the needles for a while, and it will be on the needles for a little bit longer, but that's okay. That's alright, you know? Sometimes things just hang out for a little bit. Let's see. Next, I started another pair of socks. This is actually a half-finished object. I could have shown this earlier, but I started another pair of socks. This pair is for my husband. I've got the finished one on a blocker here for you. Oh, it's so fun. This is knit out of Red Door Fibre Studio, a sock set from her in Kyoshi Warrior, and then the mini is called Katana. And again, I did 2x2 ribbing. This is the Vanilla Socks by Crazy Sock Lady, Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. I use her pattern. I have it memorized now, so I don't actually use the pattern, but that's who I reference for all my vanilla socks. So I did 2x2 ribbing on the top with a little contrast at the top, and then I think I did 20 rows of ribbing and then 60 rounds for the leg, slip stitch, heel flap, heel turn, and gusset. And then I think for these, for my husband, I did 82 rounds for the foot, which is irrelevant information for you because it entirely depends on the length of your foot, and then a rounded toe in the contrast color as well. I did the large size, which is 72 stitches for him. These fit him perfectly. And I knit these again on 9-inch circulars, US 1 2.25 millimeter. I'm not sure what else there is to say about these, but they're so fun. I have started the second one. Where's my project bag? I have these in my summer sock camp bag. I'm not like actively participating in summer sock camp this year, like I haven't entered for prizes or anything, but in the summer I put my socks in my summer sock camp bag. So, this is how far I've got on the second sock. Just started the leg. I'll show you the yarn and the ball. It's so fun, and if you are an Avatar: The Last Airbender fan, you know that this color is perfect for Kyoshi Warrior. So, yeah, that's my little mindless project that I knit on in between games of Fortnite. Because my husband and I play Fortnite a lot with a couple of our friends. And I take this to church with me, and I knit on it in the car, and you all know what you do with sock projects. So, one is finished, the other one is on the needles. And then my last whip, my last active whip, is my Gr8 Gingham Raglan by Jessie May. Jessie Maed Designs. I have 2 sleeves. Woo! Oh, I don't have them. Oh, they look so good on camera. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I will insert a picture of this pattern finished if you're not aware of what I'm talking about, but I'm sure you are because this is another pattern that took the internet by storm when it was first released. But it's knit from the bottom up, so you start with the sleeves. You start down here, cast on and do the ribbing, and then you knit up until your sleeves are the length that you want them. Then you do the other sleeve, and then I have just started the body. So you cast on at the bottom, ribbing for the body, and then knit that up until this point right here, and then you join the sleeves, join the sleeves to the body, and then finish the yoke. So I've never done a bottom-up sweater before, I don't think. No, I've never done a bottom-up sweater before. I will say it was kind of a pain in my ass to cast on all of these stitches. It doesn't look like a lot because they're kind of smushed up. To cast on all of these stitches for the bottom of the body and do the ribbing, it just felt like it took forever because I'm used to starting at the collar, which is obviously much smaller, but I am obsessed. I'm so excited. These sleeves look so good. I can't wait to have this sweater. So let me tell you about the yarn that I'm using. This pattern calls for sport weight yarn, and Jessie May is also, I know from knitting a couple of her other patterns, she is a looser knitter than me. So normally I would either go up a needle size or go up a yarn weight, and I didn't do either for this pattern. Instead, I went down a yarn weight. It calls for sport weight yarn, but I'm using fingering weight because it's what I had in stash and the colors that I wanted to use. And I'm still using the recommended needle size for the pattern, but I went up a size or 2. So basically I did some gauge math and determined how big my bust circumference of my sweater would be with the gauge that I'm getting on smaller yarn, with a little bit of a tighter gauge. I don't know if that made any sense at all, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyways, I am using Explore Knits and Fibers again because she's my fave, in Pollen, which is this Grello, green, yellow, gorgeous colorway, and Serengeti National Park, which is the variegated, and I'm obsessed. I had a sweater quantity of Pollen and a sweater quantity probably of Serengeti, and I was going to use them for different projects, and I started the project that I was going to do with Serengeti and just decided I didn't like the project, so I ripped that out, and then I saw them sitting next to each other in my stash, and I was like, these look so good together. Let me show you the balls. The balls. Here they are. Oh, so, it's blowing out a little bit. There we go. So good together. I saw them sitting next to each other and I was like, these have to be a Gr8 Gingham. They just look so good. And I still have enough of both of these left over to do other projects with, which I will talk to you about in a little bit, one of them. So anyways, I finished these sleeves. I had one sleeve finished already the last time I filmed. I think I finished the second sleeve yesterday or maybe the day before. And then last night started the ribbing and finished it this morning. So I'm ready to start the color work on the body and I'm so excited. The lawnmower people are back. So I might have to pause again. One moment. Okay, it has been several minutes costume change because I got too hot. But we'll drape this beauty over the chair so you can still see it. There she is. Also, this is my Luminaria shawl by Lindsey Fowler. I showed this before in a podcast, but it always sits on my office chair. So, anyways, I realized I did not mention the size that I knit for my Stria cardigan or my Gr8 Gingham. So the Stria, I am knitting the size 3, which is a 39.75 inch bust. So it'll have like 4 to 5 inches of positive ease. And then the Gr8 Gingham, I'm knitting the size large, which if you knit it according to the gauge in the pattern is a 47 and a half? Yeah, 47 and a half inch bust, but my gauge is tighter, so it will be smaller than that. I can't exactly remember how much smaller it will be, what the finished bust size will be on mine with my gauge, but yes, that's that. That was all the whips, so now we get to talk about super fun things, which is future cast-ons. Oh, before I do that, I did want to show you, I have made some progress on my granny stripe blanket, my scrappy granny stripe blanket. I can't remember the last time I shared it on here, but I am crocheting a blanket with all of my fingering weight scraps. So, here it is. It's so big, I'm going to just have to show you a piece of it. And the lawn people are back. Okay, hopefully you can't hear them, or if you can, they're far enough away now that it's not like crazy distracting. As I was saying, I'm crocheting a granny stripe blanket with all of my fingering weight scraps, and I have made this much progress on it. It is the width of a queen size bed, so I'm not going to be able to show you the whole thing. And also my foundation chain is way too tight, so it kind of bows at the bottom. I don't know if you can tell. But anyways, I love it. I have been having quite the crochet moment. I've been watching a ton of Toni, TL Yarn Crafts crochet videos because I just love, I will like turn on a tutorial of hers just to like watch her crochet, even if I'm not knitting that object, just because it's like so relaxing and fun to watch. But I also made some granny squares just for fun because I had extra scraps. I might turn these into a blanket too, who knows. But this one is my favorite. This one I already put my socks away, but This one I used the Tchaikovsky colorway from Sewrella, and is that not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? I don't know why, I love it so much. It reminds me of flowers, and like the way the crochet stitches, like the colors transition. Oh, it's so fun. I love it. It's so pretty. And then I have one with, this is Pitchfork Fibre Boogie Wonderland. I made socks out of this a while back. Such a fun colorway. And then this is Oak and Fibre Old Sweet Shop, her Christmas Past colorway, which I love. I made socks out of this as well. So that has been super fun. I'm very into crochet. My sister-in-law is having a baby girl in October, and I think I've decided I'm going to crochet her a granny square blanket. Jessie, if you're watching, ignore that you heard that. I'm going to make her some more stuff that you don't know about. But anyways, I thought I would include that with whips before we moved on. But now we can move on to future cast-ons. I have 3 projects that I want to work on this summer. I actually have more than that, but these are the ones I'm going to show you. I have talked to you about this before when I talked about my 2022 Make 9, which I should do a recap since we're like halfway through the year on my Make 9. I've adjusted some things, but I have gotten some pretty good progress on my Make 9. This was on my Make 9. No, it wasn't. I made this before that. The Stria was on my Make 9. My husband's Savin sweater, which Lindsey of Sock Witchery has inspired me to pick that back up this week because she just finished hers and she sent me a picture and it looks gorgeous. So I'm going to pick that back up this week. That's on my Make 9. My stripy turtle tank that I made was on my Make 9. I can't even remember what all was on there, but this was on there. Since I'm in such a crocheting mood, I've decided I'm going to crochet a garment. Because why not? This is literally the extent of my crochet career. This right here. But for some reason I think that I'm capable of crocheting a garment. So we're just going to do it. If you're not aware, I started knitting by knitting a pair of socks, which is like crazy talk because people are intimidated by socks, but I didn't know any better, so I just did it. And I've carried that with me through my knitting career. I just like, if I see something pretty, I'm confident enough in my abilities that I can follow a pattern and make it. So I'm going to make a crochet garment. We'll see. It might fail. And if it does, I'll just rip it out and try again. You know, that's the beauty of knitting and crochet. Crochet especially. It's so easy to rip stuff out. Anyways, I'm going to be crocheting the Captiva Crop by Laura Murphy. Murphy Made Crochet on Instagram. I'll insert a picture of it here. I've talked about this before. I'm going to be using Explorer Knits and Fibers again. Is anyone surprised? In the colorway Karma Chameleon. This is blowing out. I don't really know. Look how pretty. It's blowing out a little bit, but you can kind of see the tones. It's also the colorway in this postcard that I have up on my bulletin board because I just love it so much. I am a neutrals person typically, although I do like playing with color in my knits. I have found I keep the rest of my wardrobe pretty neutral, and then I can wear my knits with like anything. But this is pretty out there for me, but for a summer crocheted top, like I'll probably wear it as a top too, but like as a pool cover up and stuff, this color is so fun and pretty, and I am obsessed with it. So this is going to become a Captiva Crop. Let's see. The next thing I want to make is a camisole number 5 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I actually have some more Explorer Knits yarn. There's Explorer Knits yarn in all of these. I have a skein of Docile, which is like a really pretty sagey green color that I want to use for a camisole number 4. But I didn't bring that over. I don't know why. But I want to knit the camisole number 5, which I'll insert a picture of. It's like the pretty ribbed one that has kind of a halter-ish neckline, out of Pollen. So this is the rest of the skeins of Pollen that I have left over after my Gr8 Gingham. It looks really green on camera right now. It's more golden than this. Like, it's definitely still a grello, a green yellow, but it's more gold toned than it's showing up right now. This one looks a little more accurate than this one does for some reason. But anyways, this is going to be a camisole number 5, and I'm so excited. And then the last project, this might be like a fall project because I have a couple of things that I want to make in summer, but I'm so excited about this yarn combination that I could not wait to tell you about it. So, if you are on the Knitstagram, you probably have seen the Rumble Raglan by Lydia Morrow, I think is her last name. I'll insert a picture of it right here. This is her first design, and it is so stunning. I'm obsessed with it. I think the color work is so fun. And all of the testers and like people who have made it since it has been released, they all look so good, and I wanted to make it so bad, but I thought I would have to wait a while because I didn't think I had a good yarn combination in my stash, because most of my stash I have plans attached to it. So like everything was already designated for different projects, but then I did some destashing and some moving some things around and decided I didn't want to use certain yarns for certain projects, blah 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 blah. Essentially, I found these 3 yarns in my stash, and they're going to be a Rumble Raglan, and I'm so excited about it. So, the first one is Teeny Button in the colorway Maple Latte. This is blowing out a ton. That's a little more accurate. It's less pink and more tan than it's showing up on camera. But it's this light beigey tan mapley color. There's her label. I got this from my friend Danielle for the Winter Wishes sock swap that Jess of La Mercerie does every December. So she sent me this, so I've had this sitting in my stash for a while. So I have this, and then I have Explore Knits in the Wild Within. Oh, so pretty. This is from her Into the Wild collection from last summer. It's so gorgeous. It has like all these pinks and browns and grays, but it's also got this like teal color in there. It's so pretty. So I have this, and then I also have Explore Knits and Fibre's Prowl, which is this really like pretty chestnutty brown color. These are going to be a Rumble Raglan. Oh my gosh, look how perfect. It's blowing out the Wild Within. The colors are a lot more rich and vibrant than they're showing up right now. Maybe that's a better side of the skein to show. Oh, isn't that so fun? I'm so excited. So this probably won't get cast on until closer to the fall because I have a lot of summer projects that I want to make while it's still summer. But I can't get over it. It's so beautiful. I'm so excited. So that is all of the knitting. I don't have any acquisitions because I'm broke. Not actually, but kind of. I don't have any acquisitions this week, which is a good thing. My husband is very happy about that. I do actually, the opposite of acquisitions, I have some yarn available for destash on my Instagram. There's a little highlight level called destash, and I have a few things still available in there. So go check it out. If you like anything, just DM me to claim it. And yeah, that's that. What else is there to talk about? Life stuff. I shared what my husband and I had been going through the last couple of months in the last episode. We are doing really well. It's obviously still a process. Grieving is a process. It doesn't end overnight. So I'd been doing really well for a long time, and then last night was really, really rough. But you know what? That's okay. I'm feeling much better today. Things are good. Life is good overall. Things are good. It's sunshiny. So, yeah. Anyways, we're doing well. We have fun plans coming up in the next week or so. We're going to a baseball game, and we're going to a concert. If any of you are Greta Van Fleet fans, let me know. I am obsessed with them. Obsessed. And I got my husband, who is also obsessed, maybe more obsessed than me, got him tickets to see them for Christmas, and we were supposed to see them at the end of March, I think, and then they all got sick, not with COVID, with something else, and it put one of them in the hospital, which was really scary, but they're all better now, and the concert is rescheduled for July 30th, which is coming up in like a week, and I'm so pumped. I'm so excited for that concert. So that'll be exciting. And other than that, I'm just chilling and knitting. I also mentioned last week that I started tech editing. So if any of you guys are designers or you know designers who need a pattern tech edited, hit me up. My email for tech editing is always in the description box below if you're ever interested. Or if you just like to talk tech editing, if you're interested in becoming a tech editor, or if you already are one, I'd love to make more tech editing friends. So yeah, you can DM me on Instagram or email that email below to chat with me. That would be super exciting. The first pattern that I've tech edited is in testing right now, and it's so fun. So I'll be sharing about that on Instagram when that pattern is released. And yeah, I think that's everything. I think, yeah. Is that everything, Evie? Evie, would you like to come say hello? Oh, she's hardcore passed out on the couch, so that's a negative. I don't even know where Boomer is, but anyways, that's all for me today. Hopefully I will see you again in 2 weeks. Until then, happy knitting. Thanks for watching. Oh, that was awkward. I have to have an awkward moment in every video. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.